What if the greatest prison you will ever face is not built by the world, but by your own mind? What if the chains holding you back are invisible, comfortable, and so familiar that you stopped questioning them a long time ago? Because here's the truth most people never confront. You are not lacking talent. You are not lacking opportunity. You are not even lacking time. You are lacking control over yourself. And until you master that, nothing changes. Let me ask you something. How many times have you promised yourself you would change? How many mornings did you say, "This is the day I become disciplined," only to fall back into the same habits, the same distractions, the same excuses? You felt it, didn't you? That quiet disappointment at night when everything slows down and you realize you betrayed your own word again. That pain is not weakness. That pain is awareness, and awareness is where power begins. Because the world would teach you to chase power in the wrong places. Money, status, control over others. But the greatest leaders in history understood something deeper. True power is self-mastery, not controlling others, but controlling your impulses, your fears, your reactions, your habits, your mind. Because if you cannot command yourself, you will forever be commanded by everything around you. Think about it. A single notification pulls your attention. A single negative comment ruins your mood. A single failure convinces you to quit. That is not freedom. That is silent slavery. And here's what nobody tells you. The modern world is designed to keep you weak, to keep you distracted, to keep you comfortable, to keep you dependent. Because a person who has mastered themselves cannot be controlled. So let me ask you again, are you in control of your life or are you reacting to it? There's a difference, a deep, uncomfortable difference. And most people spend their entire lives avoiding that question.
But not you. Not today. Because something inside you is waking up. You feel it, don't you? That quiet voice that says, "There's more in me than this." But here's where the real battle begins. Not outside, inside. Because self-mastery is not a moment. It is a war. A daily, relentless, silent war between who you are and who you could become. And most people lose this war before they even realize it has begun. They surrender to comfort. They negotiate with discipline. They justify their weakness. "I'll start tomorrow. I'm just tired. I deserve a break." But what if I told you, every time you choose comfort over discipline, you are training your mind to stay weak. And every time you do the hard thing, you are building something invisible but unstoppable, your character. And character is destiny. Let me take you deeper. Imagine two people. Both have the same dream, the same opportunity, the same starting point. One wakes up early even when it hurts. One stays consistent even when it's boring. One keeps going even when there's no reward. The other waits for motivation, stops when it gets uncomfortable, quits when it gets hard. Now, fast forward 5 years, their lives will not look the same. Not because of luck, but because of discipline. Because discipline is not just action, it is identity. And here's the shift most people miss. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. So if your standards are low, your life will reflect it. But if your standards are unbreakable, nothing can stop you. Let me ask you something. What standards are you living by right now? Be honest. Not what you say, what you do. because your actions are your truth. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Self-mastery requires sacrifice. Not sometimes, always. You will have to sacrifice comfort. You will have to sacrifice instant pleasure. You will have to sacrifice the version of yourself that wants easy. And that version will fight back. It will whisper,
Skip today. No one will notice. It doesn't matter. But that voice is not you. It is your conditioning. And if you listen to it, it will control your life. But if you rise above it, you begin to transform. Slowly, quietly, powerfully. Now let me tell you something powerful. Self-mastery is not about being perfect. It is about being aware. Aware when you're slipping. Aware when you're making excuses. Aware when you're choosing weakness. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And that awareness becomes your weapon. But here's the twist. Most people misunderstand self-mastery. They think it's about restriction, control, discipline without joy. But that's not it. Self-mastery is liberation. Because when you control your habits don't control you. When you control your emotions don't control you. When you control your mind, the world cannot control you. And that is real freedom. But let me challenge you. What if the reason you haven't changed is not because it's hard, but because you're still attached to who you used to be? Think about that. Your identity is the strongest force in your life. If you see yourself as lazy, you will act lazy. If you see yourself as undisciplined, you will prove it every day. So the real question is not, what should I do? The real question is, who am I becoming? Because once you change your identity, your actions follow. And that is where self-mastery becomes real. It's not forced, it's natural. You don't have to push yourself because it's who you are. But to get there, you must go through discomfort.
There is no shortcut, no hack, no easy way. Only truth and effort and consistency, day after day, even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching, because that is where your character is built, in the unseen moments, in the silent decisions, in the times you choose discipline over desire. And here's something powerful. Every small act of discipline is a vote for the person you are becoming. So what are you voting for today? Strength or weakness? Growth or comfort? Freedom or excuses? Because make no mistake, your life is the result of your votes. Now let's go deeper. Why is self-mastery so hard? Because your brain is wired for survival, not success. It wants comfort. It wants safety. It wants immediate reward. That's why scrolling feels easier than working. That's why quitting feels better than pushing. That's why distractions feel irresistible. But here's the truth. What feels good now often leads to pain later. And what feels hard now leads to freedom later. So the question is, which pain will you choose? The pain of discipline or the pain of regret? Because one builds you, the other destroys you. Slowly, silently, completely. And by the time most people realize it, it's too late. Years gone, opportunities missed, potential wasted. But not you, because you're still here, still listening, still searching. And that means something. It means you're ready. Ready to face the truth. Ready to take control. Ready to become more. But let me be clear. This journey is not easy. You will fail. You will slip. You will doubt yourself. But that's part of it. Because self-mastery is not about never falling. It's about rising every time you fall. Stronger, wiser, more aware. And over time, those small wins become transformation. Not overnight, but inevitably. So start small. Control your morning. Control your focus.
control your habits. Because when you control the small things, you earn the power to control the big things.
And one day, you look back and realize you are no longer the same person. You are stronger, calmer, more focused, more powerful. Not because the world changed, but because you did. And that is the moment everything shifts. Because now you are not reacting to life, you are creating it, deliberately, intentionally, powerfully. And that is self-mastery. So as you leave this moment, I want you to ask yourself one question. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. What is one thing you know you must do but have been avoiding? That is your starting point. Do it. Not perfectly, not comfortably, but consistently. Because every step you take breaks a chain, and every chain you break brings you closer to freedom. So rise, not once, but every day. Choose discipline, choose growth, choose yourself. Because in the end, the most powerful person in the world is the one who has mastered themselves. And the real question is, are you ready to become that person?